Right, guys, so for today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be solving these word problems that have multiplying either by 10 or dividing by 10. My camera, I think, just moved on me. And one thing that you need to remember is that if you need to use this place value chart, use it. This is actually one of my very, very favorite place value charts that I will always use quite a bit. So if you need to use it, definitely use it all the time, okay? Now, the one thing that we need to remember is that when we multiply, my number is going to get bigger. When we divide, my number gets smaller. So when you think about it, when I am multiplying, my number or my place value is going to increase and go to the left, okay? When I am dividing, my number gets smaller, so my value is going to decrease and it's going to go to the right, okay? So this first one is 54,000 times 10. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do 54,000 on my place value chart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it one place value to the left because I am getting bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and move all of these numbers over. And when I look at this, my number has now grown to 540,000. Okay. Now, when we're done with this, we're going to talk because there is a pattern that you can see, okay? So the next one, it's the same number, 54,000, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to be dividing it by 10. So that means it's going to get smaller, so I want to move it one place value to the right. So I'm going to move this over, and all I have to do is you can keep writing those lines, but you don't necessarily have to. I have 1 0 here that goes over into the tenths column. But this number is 5,400. I don't have to write this 0 because it's after the decimal and it's a placeholder, so I don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to go 55,400, and that's all I'm going to write, okay? So now I'm going to do this one. I have 8 and 7/10. Okay, I'm going to move this up a little bit. And it says I'm going to multiply it by 10, so I'm going to get bigger. So I'm going to move my place value 1 over. And my answer is going to be 87. Okay, I have the same number again, but this time I'm going to divide it by 10. And so when I divide it by 10, that means that my place value is going to move 1 to the left or to the right. And I have 87 hundredths. Okay. So now we're going to come up to E, and it says I have 13 hundredths, okay, and we have this 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply it by 100, so we're going to my left, we're going to get bigger, and we're going to move it over 2. So I'm going to move my 0 2 place values, I'm going to move my 1, and then I'm going to move my 3, okay. Now if you look at this number, what number is that? Okay, it's not 0 1 3, it is just 13. Okay, I don't need to write that number out in the front. Okay, next I'm going to take 13. So I put 13 on my place value, and it says divide it by 1,000. So that means I'm going to be moving it to make it smaller. So I'm going to be moving it to the right, and I'm going to move it 3 because remember I've got 3 zeros in 1,000, or 3 place values is where 1,000 is. So I'm going to move it 3. So here's 1, 2, 3. Here's 1. And I can't leave it like this. I am going to have to fill in a 0 because I cannot leave my tenths column empty. If I just were to write that 0.13 and not have that 0, it changes the value of the number. So we do have to have that 0 in there, okay? Alrighty, so I've got 3 and 12 hundredths. Multiply it by 1,000, so I'm going to get bigger, by 3. So 1, 2, 3, so I'm going to move this to 3, 1, 2, and I can't just leave this blank, okay? Here's my decimal. I don't have anything in my ones column, so I have to add that 0. If I wouldn't add the 0, it would change the value of it. If I didn't have that 0, that would say 312, but my answer is 3,120. Okay, so there are zeros, and it is important to place them. This next one is 4,031 and 2/10. I want to divide it by 100. So I'm going to divide. So I'm going to move over to my right and by 2. So I'm going to move the 2 here. And then I'm just going to basically kind of follow suit on these numbers when I go. I do need to move that 0 with it. So this answer is 40 and 312 thousandths. Okay. So now I have these 3 numbers that I want to do. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 19,340. Okay. Multiply it by 10. So it's going to get bigger. I'm going to go this way. And it says by 10, so I'm going to move it 1 place value. And I have to add another 0 there, okay? So this is 193,400, okay? So go back to the original number again. This time I'm multiplying it by 10, or 100. So I need to move it 2 place values. So that means my 1's going to go here, 9, 3, 4, 0. And then I've got to add 2 zeros. 2 zeros. I add 2 zeros. I multiplied by 100, which is 2 zeros. Interesting. There's going to be a pattern here in a minute. So this is 1,934,000. Okay. Now I'm going to multiply it by 1,000. Okay, so I'm going to move 3 place values, and this is going to go off my chart because here's 1 place value, here's 2. So I need to move my 9 off the chart, or my 1 off the chart. Then I'm going to have my 9, my 3, my 4, my 1 0, and then I'm going to add 3 zeros. So this answer is 19,340,000. Okay. So on this, it says, explain how you decide how many zeros you want to add. Okay. And here's one thing that I want you guys to take a look at. And I'm going to highlight this. Okay. So here is my original number. Here is my original number. Here's my original number. Okay. When I multiplied it by 10, I had 1 0. I added a 0. When I multiplied it by 100, I had 2 zeros. I have 2 zeros added. When I multiplied it by 1,000, I had 3 zeros. I added 3 zeros. So explain how I decided the number. It's the number that I'm multiplying it. So 10 has 1 0, I add a 0. 100 has 2 zeros, I add 2 zeros. 1,000 has 3 zeros, I add 3 zeros. You can go ahead and write that in.